Welcome everyone to A Closer Look. I'm Donna Kastner, and joining us today is a team from Steelcase Event Experiences. We have Tom Condon, who is Event Design Director, and Kim Condon, who is Event Strategist. And yes, they have the same last name because they not only both work at Steelcase, they're married too. Welcome to A Closer Look.
Hi, Donna.
So I was so glad to get both of you. The big topic today that we're going to explore is event spatial design. And I think about in years past, that was once thought of as room sets. How many chairs do we need? How far is the screen? And it's evolved into something much bigger. Tell us more about how this whole field has evolved and how you're involved in it.
The evolution of conferences and meetings today is moving away from just attending a conference to hear what's presented from the stage to the attendee looking for something meaningful in their life. They're looking for something that moves them from one place to another, that triggers something emotional inside. They're really looking for either meeting people or learning something new that is a brand new experience that enriches their life. So it's a big shift, especially as meeting owners planning out conferences and events. It's a real challenge. What are we going to do to meet that need and expectation?
And it almost seems like event audience palettes have grown more sophisticated over time. And I don't know if that's a generational thing or Kim, what are you seeing happening around this whole field?
Yeah, it's definitely the participants have more expectations in it. They want to experience maybe a life-changing experience at that event, which, space is a huge part of that. So you do really have to put a different lens on that event, and it's from the participant's point of view.
So you're both focused on this field that's growing more and more important. And Tom, I want to spend some time with you on something that I got to experience firsthand, which was Merit's Global Events and their E4 event in Baltimore. And very specifically, Merit's is known to take chances, to experiment. Yeah. And they did so with moving people offsite to a number of offsite venues that were amazing, but still needed more to make them conducive for the mission for each of these full afternoon sessions. So let's take a little bit of a closer look at that. And I'm just curious how that engagement got started. I certainly know with my involvement, you've got Karen Watson and Dan Sunt kind of taking the lead. How did the first conversations unfold for this?
It was really describing what they wanted to accomplish in the space and describing the type of people that are coming. Also, it was a little bit complicated because it was a learning environment. It was off-site. It was a really cool venue with a lot of brick and kind of an urban rustic feel to it. But there were some logistics that had to happen. There were 3 learning pods, and they wanted to gather everybody at the start and then break them up into 3 groups and kind of move between 3 different settings. So, as they described what they wanted to accomplish, and we asked more questions about, tell us more about the people that are coming and what they hope to gain out of this afternoon. It really started kind of to shape our solutions. So we came up with lots of different ideas to help facilitate that. Do you want me to go in more detail of?
Yeah, and I should give some framework to this in that shaping our future. So we were really looking at how are we as an industry going to need to continue to evolve to serve the needs of our audiences and really design meaningful experiences. And so you had the spatial element. I was one of the pods with the people element, and you had Janet Spearstead, who did a remarkable job on kind of pulling this together. So talk to me more. You're right, that the big challenge, here's this really cool space. We wanted the big, we were going to have everybody together at the beginning, but then we wanted them to move about through the afternoon and have smaller kind of villages. And so what did you think about as you moved into this design project?
Some of the solutions were more logistical. How do we move people from one group to another easily without causing confusion? with every kind of meeting, there's always like a stress element of understanding what you're supposed to do as an attendee. So the way we accomplished that was we created the pods following 3 different color schemes so that it would be really easy just to say, okay, group, we're going to break up into 3 smaller groups. And this section, you're going to move over to, the blue for your discussion and learning. And then, so the colors just helped. It was really easy for people to identify, which section they were going to go to next. We always, in our settings, so when you think about the people attending and what they hope to achieve or their comfort level, we design in a whole variety of seating types too. It's really great if you can give the attendees a choice. So it's giving them some control over the space. When they enter in, do they want to sit at a stool and a high top, or would they be more comfortable in a lounge chair or something with a straight back? Because you never know what people's, inside story is. They might have a back problem and feel better at a stool. So that choice really kind of puts people at ease. It also kind of sets the mood that this is creative and this is different. So I bet the content coming from the stage is going to follow that same theme.
It was interesting to watch them move about, and you're right. I have to say that they moved into all 3 types, and it was very, I don't know, it was conducive for conversation, because I know for my pod, it was short talks and then talk to your neighbors. And that environment was very conducive. I know you had whiteboards for us, or inspiration boards. And,
Right.
But I should step back, because I got to tell you, when I watched the attendees arrive, they already knew this was a cool space, but I loved sitting there. We were welcoming them as they came in, but you could just see that, ooh, there's
Yeah,
something different going on here.
exactly. And part of it is anticipating their needs too. They were off-site. They might have arrived a little bit early. So we built in a few things that we just anticipated. It didn't really come out as a definite need, but we created a quiet zone so that if somebody needed to step away, make a phone call, or get on their device and answer an email, there was a place to do that away from the hustle and bustle of the crowd and the event. So that was one need that we thought we were satisfying. And then also to help foster connections, there was a space that allowed us to create a lounge setting that as you enter, before you actually enter the learning space. So it gave people a place to kind of sit down. If you're by yourself, it was large enough where you didn't feel awkward. You could just kind of have a seat, maybe meet somebody new. So that also helped with making connections, and was one of the goals of the conference, is help people connect and have meaningful conversations too.